It is officially time for the Christmas display 2023. For those who don't know, I have not been home for Christmas, at least for a year now. I wasn't home for Christmas in 2022 because I was doing the Disney College program. If you want to see me decorate my Disney College program apartment for Christmas, you can check the link below or up here at the end of the video. And if you want to see how I usually decorate this room for Christmas, I'll also link it all those places. I say that because I'm not gonna decorate it how I usually do this year. I am a little limited on time. This is the day before Thanksgiving that I'm decorating right now. I usually do full tree, full out crazy time. I am going to be going away for like a week-ish in December because I'm going to Walt Disney World, so if you see me, say hey. That if I'm not going to be home and I'm working and doing this thing, that thing, all these things, and I'm not going to be home to enjoy the tree, and then I'll be heading back to college, of course, in January, so by the time I get the tree all set up and ready to go, it will be taken back down again. Generally speaking, no tree this year, which is sad because I do have some really, really cool ornaments, but I look forward to future Florida apartment where we can go crazy decorating. Just this year isn't going to be too crazy because of other things going on in my life at this time. So we're going to do some subtle little decor things as I usually do. We're going to incorporate some new things that I've gotten from Target and just make it festive still. You know, I still like a little bit of festive, fun times. So we're going to be taking down all of the 100th anniversary stuff, which also is quite sad because I had some pretty fun themes throughout. So if you'd also like to see a tour of that, that is also linked down below. I have quite the playlist of room tour videos on this channel at this point because this channel is almost 9 years old, which is wild. So there's all the kinds of stuff. If you want to see all the ways I've ever decorated this room, go watch the old videos because they were a time. I guess something that I always state is kind of my plan for this display. Oh gosh. When I was on my Disney College program, I got some new holiday popcorn buckets and some of those little things. So those will be front and center throughout this display. I think that my popcorn buckets are going to be the main source of holiday cheer in this display because they're just bigger things I can just place in and kind of move on. So the themes are, there's going to be the little candy gingerbread shelf. There's going to be classic Christmas shelf. There's going to be retro Christmas shelf. And then some little shelves are going to feature some fun items from the year. I may still keep a little 100th shelf alive and well. And then we're going to decorate the castle for Christmas and get the Wemos dressed up in their Christmas attire. Instead of leaving you in just a time lapse for this video, I thought that I would narrate my thought process in making my display. So hopefully some of you find this helpful because I've been doing this for many, many years and I've just made a system for myself in terms of redecorating and organizing my display. And I know that many of you are also new collectors out there, so I thought I'd share kind of my going about redoing a display as big as this one. As you can see, I always make a list of themes that I want to incorporate into my display every time I redo it that I just listed off. And then I just go and start to take down one shelf at a time and sort the items into piles based on their themes. As I mentioned, I did want to keep a Disney 100 display, so I put all of my items that I wanted to use in this little shelf for the 100th aside, and now I'm beginning to rearrange them. You'll notice in all these clips how I go about rearranging each individual shelf is by finding the biggest item that I want to be in the shelf first, and then begin layering items around it to create depth and different height differences. It makes the display a lot more interesting, and I'm able to incorporate a lot more items that way. So as you can see here, I'm definitely taking my time trying to make it look right and figuring out a way to arrange these bigger items to not look too busy in the display. And then from there, I'll go in and sprinkle in the smaller items all the way down to the confetti at the end. So that's kind of how I go about doing each display, is I really focus on the height differences and focus on the items that I really want to be in the display first. I also dust each of my items with a paintbrush to make sure I get in all the little cracks and things, to make sure that they are well dusted and clean. And also so they don't get scratched, because that is a big thing for collectors. I now move on to another display that I had in mind, which I do every holiday season, is a little gingerbread display. I was really excited to have that tin popcorn cookie bucket that I got last year at Walt Disney World, but it didn't fit with this really cute white shelf that I think just reminded me of a bakery, and I wanted to display my gingerbread Funko Pops on it. So I had to think of a new idea, and I needed to walk away from it and come back to it later. So I did the top shelf, which I already knew I wanted that Christmas tree popcorn bucket to be the highlight of, so that one was fairly simple and quick to put together. I then resumed to another shelf that I was back and forth on. I couldn't really think of an idea for, and just started playing around with it. Eventually I got a little bit frustrated and I went back to the gingerbread shelf and kind of figured out some height differences, some balance within the display, and just started to make it work with what I had. I incorporated lots of little items, even ones that weren't Disney, that just kept the theme consistent. Eventually I got a little frustrated with that, and we moved on to the next one. That does happen basically every single time I redecorate my room. I have a plan, an idea for a shelf, and it's not necessarily working out the way I thought it would, so I walk away from it and I work on something else, and then I'll come back to it later, as you'll see many times in this video, particularly with the display case, because I really want it to be perfect. As you can see here, I'm reorganizing my Disney park guide maps. I put all of the holiday guide maps in the front. This is a pamphlet holder from Amazon, if you were curious. I also had to reset my clock because I didn't do that yet. So I put all my holiday maps in the front, and I already had a plan for the back of my bed there, so I redid that area too. I then had many piles on the floor at that point from things I was sorting out, so I thought I'd get some things out of the way, like this adorable little Christmas tree that I had, and I wanted to add, of course, some magic to it. I have lots of little timered lights in my room and in my display, because you have to design for both the day and the night time, so this was a lot of fun to decorate a little tiny Christmas tree with little Disney Hallmark ornaments. I've gotten some new ones the past few years, so I'm still happy to have a tree in my room for this holiday season. And I really, really love the timered lights because I can put them in all of my display shelves and I don't need to worry about turning them on. Eventually, I went back to that second to last shelf there in my display case and remembered that Jollywood Nights is a new thing that will be at Disney's Hollywood Studios, and what more Hollywood Studios thing is there than Toy Story and, of course, holiday toys. So this is a pre-Jollywood Nights display, and it ended up working out really well. I then moved on to the washi tape, which I used to hang up different postcards, cards, park maps, different things in my display shelf, just again to add more height, variation, and decorate more of a background for these characters, which ends up being a lot of fun in the end. This is just a time lapse of me going crazy. I just moved my way around my room. I finished my desk area, as you saw, and now we're just on to the next part. I'm putting everything back in my closet. That's not going to be a part of this display anymore. I turned on these beautiful castle lights that I have. And I also saw Wish this night. And I did not account for this, but I did get a star popcorn bucket, which I love him so much. So I put some timered lights in him so he can always light up every night and have his little wish. It's very, very cutie. So I now had to make a spot for him, which I was easily able to incorporate next to the castle, which I think works perfectly. And of course I had to decorate the castle for the holidays too. I added these little wreaths from the dollar store, which has always worked nicely on any of my Lego sets, which is great, and they're very, very festive and cute. I also got in the mail from Shop Disney another new Newemo's outfit. This one just came out for 2023, so I had to pick a character to put it on, and I chose Daisy. She looked very, very cute in it, and I set all the characters up there in front of the castle and got them decorated in their little winter and Christmas outfits. Moving on back to the tree, it looks a little bland, so I added some little candy garland. You all know I love the Disney foods. And then I just go through subtle details, things I want to set out in my room just to keep that consistent theme, from bags to cushions to pillows. And then finally, one of my favorite parts at the end is getting to add these little confettis to all of my shelves. As I said, I focus a lot on color with my display, so these little confetti pieces really help to fill in the shelf and also tie in the colors for each of the displays. finally, we're on to the last little bit, which is my Vinylmations. I dust them all and each with a paintbrush to, again, get them all nice and clean. And I reorganize them based on their colors and characters and themes. I pulled out ones for Frozen for the 10th anniversary, but also just have that winter color scheme. As you can see here on my desk, I'm dusting them and sorting them by theme and how they'll arrange in the shelf, which is crazy, but that's what works for me. And eventually we got it all cleaned up and done. So I think that's going to do it for the room cleaning. It's generally there. There's a few other little things that I'll kind of put away before I film the room tour, but hopefully you enjoyed this little room cleaning video. I like filming them, although sometimes it gets a little overwhelming, stressful trying to move around a bunch of items and film doing so. But I look forward to showing you what I did for this very simplistic holiday room. December's tomorrow, just about for you, I think. So happy December. Look forward to that room tour on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Stay tuned for live stream announcements coming up as well. And as always, remember to do what you love and do what makes you happy. And I will see you all next time. Bye.